So we have to look at that. But if a tree is planted by the rivers of water, then God allows the tree to get all the nourishment it needs because it's planted in the right place. Yes. And so what is David saying? David is saying if we are planted in the right place in God, we will get all the nourishment that we need. All the nourishment that we need, and we will bring forth our fruit in the season, and our leaf will not wither, and whatsoever we do it, we will prosper. That's the same way that scripture is used for telling you how to prosper in God. Yes, sir. It's not where you are. Well, let me say this. It's what you do and where you're planted. If you're planted in stony soil, where that there's little water, then you don't expect that plant to grow too well. Matter of fact, when the heat comes, it'll get scorched out and it'll die. Yeah. But if it's planted in good soil, and that's what we have to understand, if God plants you in good soil, you got to realize what good soil is. Yes, sir. Because all soil are not good. All soil are not good, and sometimes, people may think that it's, just because a church has so many members, that means that's a good soil. And sometimes because they have a small congregation, that may be good soil, but that's not true. Good soil is where God's word is being preached and fertilized and make sure it is nurtured that a plant can grow. Yes, regardless of what type of plant it is, it can grow in the right soil. He said, the ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Well, chaff is the dead wind, the dead thing that'll die. When it's dead, the wind can blow it. And it's like these tumbleweeds. You see them blowing. So the wind can blow it. Anything can move it when it's dead. Because it's what? The leaves have dried up. It doesn't have any weight. There's no velocity to it, so anything can just about drive it away. A child can pick up a tumbleweed 3 times its size. Bigger than the child. They can pick it up because there's no problem. It ain't got nothing in it. It's empty. But if that tumbleweed was green and flourishing, they couldn't pick it up. It weighs too much. And so we have to then look at what God does when he gives life. He said, therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. Now, why then did the ungodly? What is the ungodly? The ungodly is wicked people that have been saved. All right, let me say it again. The ungodly are wicked people that have not been saved. Because can you be on anything that you was not before? I'm asking, looking for an answer. Can you be on something that you wasn't before? You have to be it before you can on. So ungodly folks are people that have been saved and now they are wicked. So he said the ungodly are not so. They're not so. But they are like the chaff which the wind drives away. Then he said, therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. They won't stand among the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of what? But the way of the ungodly shall perish. So when people are doing unrighteous, don't worry about it. Don't let your heart get caught up in that, because they are not going to last. It may look like they're prospering. It may look like they're getting over, but they're not going to last. Well, while we're at it, let's just go to chapter 2:2. David asked the question, why do the heathen rage? Why do the heathen rage? And he was talking about Gentiles, people that do not know God at that time. Why do the heathen rage? Why do the heathen seem to thrive or throne so well? And the people imagine a vain thing. Wait a minute, these are people, he said, that are tremulous or restless, and they are plotting in their meditation. They always plotting against the saint. Why is it? Ask this question sometime. Why is it that in the best houses, your millionaires, billionaires, can we name, besides Jesus, one billionaire that's a Christian? There are some, but they are very, very few. They don't make Fortune magazine. So why then would the sinners have the best of everything? Because there is no standard for some for how to get it. I just told you about how they do the fruit. That they can make it big and charge you think you're paying less, and unless you cutting up the peel and to put in to make something else out of it, you lost. Matter of fact, I was shocked. I had never, my wife bought one, a little, you know, the little watermelons? Wow. It was much more meat in that. And they charging you like 69 cents a pound for the watermelon. But think about the rind, how much you throw away. If you weigh that and the watermelon weighed 10 pounds or 20 pounds, you're throwing away 10 pounds that you're not eating. But if you get the little small melon, it's a lot of meat in there because the outside is very thin. So man learns how to manipulate fruit, vegetables, peas, everything, even the cows. I mean, why would Church's Chicken sell you a wing that is 3 times bigger than Colonel Sanders and 4 times bigger than Pioneer's? I told them the other day, I thought maybe somebody ought to file a suit. I mean, look on television, them Pioneer wing, they said $3 for $3.99. This lady said, woo, she all this stuff she done put in it, and they showed the wing so big, and so I decided to stop by Pioneers, I was hungry, and I picked them up. It was like they was pigeon wings. I mean, they were the smallest wings I ever seen. My wife would tell you the truth. I brought some out. She said, what? I said, there it is. And I didn't, you know, because I don't eat a whole lot, so I thought that about one of them would be enough for my wife and I. And I ate one of the wings on the way, and when I had ate it on the way, I said, you know, this is not going to cut the mustard. But they manipulate it. That's how they get it. They manipulate it. And they make it show it big on television under magnifying glass, so they cook some big one, and you think that you're getting a meal. And those had to be a pheasant wings or something. This absolutely was not a regular chicken wing. They was banny hens. So that's why they do it. They manipulate anyway. They manipulate the food. I mean, all right. Have you ever been to an Oriental place to buy the shrimps? And you get a chunk of bread, and they pull out a shrimp that don't weigh an ounce. Chunk of bread, flavor all through there. You bite into it, you got flavor all through the bread. But there's no shrimp. There's no shrimp. So they manipulate. The church wouldn't dare do that, because if the church do that, that would be wrong. That's why sometimes if the church sells dinners, give the people their money worth. Half at least, so, you know, buy it. Don't just manipulate and cut stuff all up and stuff. And, you know, like the Japanese and Chinese, they know how to cut a chicken up so many different ways, and tell the goodness, they can make $60 off a chicken the way they cut them up. Okay. This is why they can do it. This is why the world have. They manipulate. We wouldn't dare do that, because we said that's not right. It's not right. Now, the kings of the earth set themselves, and the ruled take counsel together. You see what they do? They take counsel together against the what? The Lord, and against what? His anointed saying. They are not trying to build a business for God. They're building a business for themselves. Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavenly shall do what? Laugh. The Lord shall have them in what? Derision. God is going to confuse them. He's going to get them. Then shall he speak unto them in his what? And vex them in their what? Sore displeasement. God will send vexation. That's why they never can make enough. Think about this. Our president, in his address to the nation, appealed to the business to raise the minimum wage to $10 per hour. And the Republican says, now think about this, if they raise it to $10.10 an hour, a lot of folk going to lose their job. Here's the heart of a person that makes $50 million a year and say he can't pay you $10.10 an hour. What type of heart is that? That they would say that. And they are making it. And they manipulate it. Whereas that they will send it overseas, ship it overseas, or have it, all the material, have it made over there by peoples for 20 cents, sometimes 10 cents an hour. Then they'll pay the tariff to have it shipped back. For instance, just Air Jordan shoes and some of the clothes cost over there to make it $1, maybe $9 for a pair to ship back. And then the poorest people in the United States pay $150 to come out of Air Jordan. They think they're going to jump higher. You can't jump no higher in them shoes you can in some shoes from Payless. But they spend the money on advertising. Now watch this. They spend the money on advertising, and they make the Super Bowl to advertise for 30 seconds on the Super Bowl this year was $4 million for 30 seconds. And as a matter of fact, they filled so many slots they had to cut off. Because they know that 300 and some million people is watching. They know that 300 and some million people are not going to buy. All they need is 50,000. They make $60 million. So that's why we don't want to manipulate and become ungodly for the dollar. And then and the more money the people make, the more problem they have, because they're trying to protect it. They have heart attacks and strokes trying to protect what they have. They become alcoholics or become users trying to protect what they have. So we have to be satisfied with what God bless us with, because the blessings of God make it rich and add no sorrow with it. Now, he that sitteth in heaven shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them, and vex them. And that word vex means distress. Give them distress, and deep distress and displeasure. Yea, have I set my kings upon my holy hills of Zion. I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. So what God is saying, don't worry about what they're doing. Don't stress yourself out about how could folks during Christmas time wanted to cut the peoples off of unemployment. And then how could they hold over it? And they did stop it before they got a budget. They had people wasn't getting paid. They worked for the state, wasn't getting paid. But it's strange that the folks that was voting against it was getting paid. They didn't suffer. They didn't suffer. But the other folks, the poor, always, and the middle class. The poor sometimes is better than the middle class, because the poor can get everything they need. The middle class is the one that pays, making the money for the country. The middle class pays the most taxes. The rich don't pay the taxes. Matter of fact, some of the big oil companies made profits, $44 billion. Do you understand that $44 billion will fill up this room? They made that much a profit. And guess how much of taxes they paid? Zero. Zero. Why? Because they said if they pay profit, if they pay taxes, they don't have money to invest in finding other ways to drill and other things to do this and that. And if they pay, certain people a certain amount of money, they'll go broke. And they would have $45 billion. I didn't say million, billions. It takes what? 100 millions to make 1 billion. They said Bill Gates is so rich that if he would drop $1 million, the time it would take him to pick it up, he'd lose 2. I just want to follow him. I just want to follow him. So, but Bill Gates is giving back now. He is. Bill Gates said that he took and adopted a country in Africa, and he said that he's going to put a computer in the hands of every family in that nation. He's giving back. God had blessed him, and he's giving it back. Now, God said in verse 8, ask of me, and I shall give thee heathen for thine inheritance. Did y'all see that?